A new dinosaur was just found in the Gobi Desert. A lizard species hidden for generations was finally confirmed in one of the most remote parts of Australia. And in Iran's scorching Lut Desert, a super unexpected animal comes to life after decades underground. These are bizarre creatures found in the desert that left scientists shocked. Number 7. Duonicus. In July of 2024, paleontologists working in Mongolia's Gobi Desert, a world-renowned fossil hotspot, announced the discovery of a brand new dinosaur called Duonicus sogbatari. The name literally means Sogbatar's claw, a nod to one of the paleontologists on the team. And what a claw it was. This thing had massive scythes on its hands, over 12 inches long. But the truly astonishing part? Somehow those claws still had their original keratin casing intact. That almost never happens. Keratin, the same stuff our fingernails are made of, usually decomposes long before fossilization. You just get the fossilized bone core. But this one had the actual outer sheath, which helped confirm just how sharp and curved they were, like giant pruning shears. And even though it lived about 70 million years ago, parts of it were so well preserved that scientists could learn more about its muscles, joints, and how it moved. This was one of the most complete therizinosaur skeletons ever found in Asia. Therizinosaurs are a strange group of theropods that, despite their terrifying claws, were likely herbivores, using their claws to pull down branches. The team, led by Yoshitsugu Kobayashi from Hokkaido University, now has an unparalleled look into the anatomy of this bizarre creature. Number 6. Strange lizard. In June of 2024, a remarkable collaboration between scientists and the indigenous Anangu people led to a stunning discovery in the remote deserts of South Australia. They found a brand new lizard species that had been hiding in plain sight. It's called Lyophilus aparima, and it belongs to a group of lizards known as rock skinks, which are masters of camouflage. But this one stood out right away. Its scales have a unique, almost iridescent sheen and a pattern that didn't match any known species. Genetic analysis confirmed it was entirely new. The discovery was led by Jules Farquhar from Monash University, but the team credits their success to their indigenous partners. Thing is, the Anangu people already knew about this lizard. They call it aparima, and they've known where it hangs out and what it does for generations. Their traditional ecological knowledge was invaluable. They guided the researchers to the specific, isolated rock formations where the lizards live, a habitat Western science had completely overlooked. The aparima are incredibly shy, darting into deep crevices at the slightest disturbance. Without their help, the researchers admit they probably wouldn't have even found it. This place is super remote and mostly uncharted, a landscape of ancient stone and unforgiving sun. It's a perfect example of how crucial it is to combine modern science with ancient wisdom to truly understand the world around us. Number 5. Fairy shrimp. In one of the hottest places on Earth, a place so inhospitable it was once thought to be devoid of life, there lives a shrimp. And this phantom creature only shows up when it rains. Yeah, I bet you weren't expecting a shrimp on this list. It's called, and it was a complete surprise to scientists who officially named it in 2017 after finding it in Iran's Lut Desert, a place known for its extreme conditions. The surface of the Lut Desert can hit temperatures over 150 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a landscape of salt and sand baked by a relentless sun. You'd think nothing could survive there, but these shrimp have a secret to enduring the extremes. They don't live out in the open. Instead, they exist as tiny hardened eggs or cysts, buried in the dry salt flats. Through a process called anhydrobiosis, they can completely dehydrate and stay dormant for years, maybe even decades, waiting for rain. When the rare desert downpour creates temporary pools, the change in water salinity triggers the cysts to hatch almost instantly. Within a few days, these ephemeral puddles, which didn't exist a week ago, are teeming with life. Their entire life is a race against time. They grow to adults in just a couple of weeks, mate, and lay a new generation of hardy eggs. Then, as the puddles evaporate, the shrimp vanish. Dr. Hossein Rajaei aptly called it discovering a ghost species. Number 4. Giant viruses. From one extreme desert to another. In 2014, researchers were analyzing soil samples from the Great Rann of Kutch in western India, one of the largest salt deserts on the planet. This massive expanse is a seasonal salt marsh. For part of the year it's underwater, but for the rest it's a cracked, barren landscape that gets insanely hot and dry, seemingly hostile to life. You wouldn't expect to find much living in that salty crust, but when the team used metagenomic sequencing to analyze all the genetic material in a sample, something completely unexpected popped up. Traces of giant viruses. Regular viruses are tiny and simple, but these behemoths, like Pandora virus, are so large and genetically complex, they blur the line between living and non-living, challenging the very definition of a virus. But here's what really threw everyone off. These giant viruses are aquatic. They'd only ever been found in water before, oceans, ponds, and even contact lens solution, where they infect single-celled amoebas. So what were they doing in bone-dry desert soil? Are the viruses dormant, waiting for seasonal floods? Or are they infecting some unknown, hardy desert host? The team couldn't confirm if they were still active, leaving a tantalizing mystery buried in the salt. Number 3. The southern marsupial mole. Deep beneath the remote sand dunes of Western Australia lives a creature so strange it's almost mythical. The southern marsupial mole is a tiny blind mammal that has perfected life almost entirely underground. It has no functional eyes, just vestigial lenses beneath the skin and no external ears. Its neck vertebrae are fused for rigidity when burrowing, and its silky golden fur helps it glide effortlessly through the loose sand. Scientists describe its movement as sand swimming. Using its spade-like front claws, it wriggles through the earth. Uniquely, the tunnels it creates collapse immediately behind it, leaving almost no trace of its passage. Sightings are incredibly rare. For a long time, much of our knowledge came from indigenous Australians, and the few specimens that accidentally surfaced or were found in the stomachs of predators like cats or foxes. Because they leave no permanent burrows, studying them is a huge challenge. Lately, scientists use environmental DNA, analyzing sand for genetic traces to map their presence. Even so, it remains one of Australia's most mysterious and elusive mammals. Number 2. The thorny devil. Known scientifically as this iconic lizard from the Australian outback, is covered in conical spikes. These serve as both intimidating armor and brilliant camouflage against the desert sands. Despite its fearsome appearance, it's remarkably placid. The spikes are purely for defense, making it a difficult meal. It moves with a slow, rocking gait, focused entirely on its hunt for ants. But its most incredible adaptation is how it drinks. In the arid desert, it doesn't need to find puddles of water to survive. Instead, its skin is a marvel of biological engineering. A network of microscopic grooves between its scales collects moisture from dew or even damp sand. Through capillary action, this water is channeled directly to the corners of its mouth. The thorny devil is a specialist anteater. With a sticky tongue, it can slurp up thousands in a single day, sometimes consuming over 2,500 ants in one meal. It also has a final trick, a false head. This spiny knob of tissue on its neck is presented to predators when threatened. The lizard tucks its real head down, offering the decoy to confuse birds of prey or goannas. Number 1. Sandfish lizard. The sandfish lizard lives in the vast deserts of North Africa and the Middle East. It's about 6 to 8 inches long, with smooth, shiny scales that let it slip easily through loose sand. When the sun gets too hot, or if it senses danger, it dives straight into the sand and sort of swims under the surface. It moves its body in a wave-like motion, almost like a fish in water. To keep sand out, it closes its eyes and its nostrils. While underground, it hunts insects, spiders, scorpions. It can stay buried for several minutes before coming back out again. Scientists have been fascinated by the sandfish's swimming technique because it's one of the best examples of an animal perfectly adapted to life in the desert. Actually, the way it moves inspired engineers to try creating robots that can move through sand or rubble in the same kind of way. All that said, and I'll catch you specifically in the next video.